In the quiet town of Griffin, Georgia, where oak-lined streets hum with small-town charm, a single gunshot shattered the lives of two young lovers and left a community grappling with an unanswerable question. Was it an accident, or was it murder? On August 1st, 2018, Stephen Andrew Freeman, a charismatic 23-year-old with dreams as big as the Georgia sky, lay bleeding in his apartment, a bullet lodged in his chest. Beside him knelt his high school sweetheart, Catherine Higdon, sobbing, pleading, and claiming it was a horrific mistake. But as the police arrived and the truth began to unravel, a darker story emerged, one of love twisted by control, rage, and secrets hidden behind closed doors. What really happened that night? And who was the real Stephen Freeman? Buckle in, because this is a story that will leave you questioning everything. Stephen Freeman was the kind of person who lit up a room. Born on January 1st, 1995, to Troy and Jennifer Freeman, he grew up in Griffin alongside his brother Blake, in a home filled with laughter and love. Friends described him as chill, always quick with a smile and a kind word. He'd tell you he loved you without hesitation, his best friend Thomas Skinner recalled. Stephen was the guy who'd help you move a couch or crack a joke to ease a tense moment. He adored his mother Jennifer, so much that when she returned to college to finish her degree, he penned a heartfelt note. "I look up to you every day. You've shown me that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. I love you to the moon and back." That note, tucked away in Jennifer's keepsake box, would later become a haunting reminder of the son she lost. Stephen's life wasn't perfect, but it was full of promise. He worked as a metal worker, a job that suited his hands-on nature, and shared an apartment with his girlfriend of 7 years, Higdon. The couple, who met as teenagers at Griffin High School, seemed destined for forever. They bonded over their love for the outdoors, hiking through Georgia's pine forests, camping under starlit skies, and hunting in the crisp fall air. But beneath their Instagram-worthy adventures, something was brewing. Was their love as idyllic as it appeared, or was it a ticking time bomb waiting to explode? Catherine Higdon, born in 1994, was Stephen's mirror in many ways. Raised in a loving family, she was creative, outgoing, and a bit of a tomboy. As a child, she'd stage plays for her parents and chase fireflies in the backyard. Like Stephen, she had a passion for nature and animals, but she also had a fascination with firearms. Growing up around guns, Mary was comfortable handling them, a skill she honed while working at a sporting goods store in Griffin, where she sold rifles and pistols. She knew gun safety inside out, her co-worker Thomas Skinner said. You had to, working there. Mary and Stephen's relationship was the envy of their friends, at least at first. They were the couple who'd pack a cooler, head to the lake, and lose themselves in the wilderness. But by 2018, after 7 years together, cracks were forming. Friends noticed Mary's possessiveness, her tendency to flood Stephen's phone with calls and texts when he was out. She'd call him 30 times before lunch, said Andrew McKee, another close friend. Stephen, ever the laid-back guy, brushed it off, but there was a tension in his eyes that hadn't been there before. What was happening behind the scenes? And why did Stephen, who seemed so in love, start talking about leaving? August 1st, 2018, started like any other day in Griffin. Mary was cooking a London broil, a dish she hoped would smooth over a fight she'd had with Stephen the day before. The couple's relationship had been volatile lately, with arguments escalating into shouting matches. Police had been called to their apartment 5 times in the past year, twice for domestic disputes. That night, Stephen hadn't come home, and Mary was fuming. She called his mother, Jennifer, who told her Stephen was at Thomas's house. Determined to confront him, Mary got in her car, spotted Thomas's truck, and tailed it, yelling out her window, "Are you coming home?" Stephen, looking defeated, agreed to return. 2 hours later, at 10:47 p.m., Mary dialed 911, her voice trembling. "I accidentally just shot my boyfriend." Police arrived to find Stephen on the floor, a gunshot wound just below his neck. Mary was hysterical, kneeling beside him, crying, "I cannot lose him." Body camera footage captured her anguish. Or was it an act? Some detectives thought her tears seemed rehearsed, her sobs too theatrical. Others saw a woman in genuine shock. Stephen was rushed to the hospital but died just before midnight. The bullet fired from a Glock 42. Stephen, kept in the apartment, had ended his life. But how did it happen? Mary's initial account was simple. She was handing Stephen the gun when it just went off. She claimed she didn't know it was loaded, as they never kept loaded firearms in the house. But detectives weren't buying it. "Guns don't just go off," said lead investigator Detective Mark Johnson, a firearms expert. "You have to pull the trigger, and the bullet's trajectory showed it was aimed directly at his chest." Mary's story shifted during questioning. She now said she tossed the gun to Stephen, not handed it. The inconsistencies raised red flags. The crime scene told a messier story. Food was strewn across the kitchen, remnants of the London broil Mary had cooked. Cooking grease was found on the gun's magazine, suggesting it had been handled that night. Detectives also noted the smell of alcohol on Mary's breath, hinting at a heated argument fueled by liquor. Then came a bombshell. During a second interrogation, without her lawyer present, Mary admitted to shooting Stephen in a fit of anger. Detectives were elated until they reviewed the tape. Static. The audio was inaudible, and the confession was lost. Without it, they had to rely on circumstantial evidence and witness testimony. Stephen's friends painted a damning picture. Thomas, Andrew, and Chase Pruitt described Mary as jealous, verbally abusive, and prone to explosive outbursts. They claimed she'd pulled a gun on Stephen multiple times, though he never reported it because he loved her. "He was scared of her," Thomas said. "He was planning to leave, to move somewhere she couldn't find him." Text messages from July 30th, just 2 days before the shooting, showed a softer side, Stephen calling Mary beautiful, her wishing him a great day. But the next day, they fought, and Stephen stayed at Thomas's, telling him he was running from Satan. Was Mary the villain they claimed, or was there more to the story? Mary was charged with murder, felonious assault, and possession of a firearm during a felony. Offered a plea deal, life with a chance of parole, she refused, insisting she acted in self-defense. Her trial in 2019 became a media circus, splitting Griffin's tight-knit community. The prosecution leaned on the grease-covered gun, Stephen's friend's testimony, and Mary's shifting stories. But the defense had a different narrative, one that turned the tables. Taking the stand, Mary tearfully recounted a relationship marred by Stephen's hidden darkness. She alleged he was controlling, tracking her every move, demanding to know who she was with and what she was spending. She claimed he verbally and physically abused her, even raping her twice. One incident, she said, occurred after a Disney World trip, when Stephen forced himself on her, saying, "I bought you all these things, so you owe me." She described a red room where he inflicted pain during sex, ignoring her pleas to stop. Text messages backed her up. 63 pages of vitriolic messages from Stephen, including one with a photo of a dead fish, captioned, "This is you, bitch," and another threatening to wreck her for cheating. The defense also introduced evidence of Stephen's struggles with alcohol and prescription drugs, which they argued fueled his aggression. A text from Stephen to Mary read, "I know you've pointed a gun at me before, but last time scared the shit out of me." Mary clarified she'd threatened to harm herself, not him, a claim his friends echoed, saying Stephen stayed with her out of fear she'd take her own life. But forensic evidence complicated her self-defense claim. Stephen was shot while sitting on the mattress, not lunging at her, as she'd described. The jury deliberated for days, torn between two irreconcilable truths. They believed Mary shot Stephen intentionally, but without the confession tape and with conflicting accounts, they couldn't determine a motive. Was she a battered woman fighting for her life, or a manipulative partner settling a score? On a spring day in 2019, Mary Catherine Higdon was acquitted of all charges. Stephen's family gasped in disbelief. His mother, Jennifer, wept, clutching his note. "I never knew he spoke to her that way," she said, grappling with the son she thought she knew. Stephen Freeman's death left a void in Griffin. To his family and friends, he was a beacon of kindness, a young man whose resilience inspired those around him. Yet the trial exposed a side of him few had seen, a man capable of cruelty, shaped by unseen demons. Mary, now free, left Griffin, her name forever tied to the case. The question lingers: who was the real victim? Was Stephen's death a tragic accident, a premeditated act, or the desperate response of a woman pushed to the edge? This case reminds us that love can be a battlefield, where truth is often the first casualty. Stephen's story challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question the narratives we're told, and to seek justice even when answers are elusive. His legacy, though marred by tragedy, endures in the courage he showed and the love he gave. Let his memory inspire us to face life's challenges with strength and to cherish those we hold dear. If you were gripped by this story, subscribe to our channel for more true crime stories that unravel the mysteries of the human heart. Hit that button, and let's dive into the next case together.